Hi there folks, welcome to RRTV's live coverage of the Australian Online Supercar Championship, coming to you live from Mount Panorama, Bathurst, and we're here for round 6, which is the Bathurst 150. Your commentary team tonight is myself, Bernie Weemers, and I'm joined in the booth by Daniel Leet. Welcome, Daniel. It's another great night of V8 Supercar action.
Yeah, good evening, Bernie, and to all the viewers out there, welcome. Bathurst, great Australian circuit, and the V8s, what more could you want? We're in for a lot of fun tonight.
Yeah, we certainly are. It's the mecca, isn't it, of Australian motorsport, and everyone loves Bathurst, especially on a Friday night. And I'll tell you what, we have a huge field of drivers joining us here tonight. Having a look, 59 V8 supercars are out there qualifying at the moment.
Yeah, it's fantastic to see the turnout. I think being the track and car combination it always draws a massive crowd, especially from the Australian guys. 59 cars, max field tonight. A lot of carnage potentially on the opening few laps and off the top of the hill, but I think the guys are going to put it on for us.
Yeah, they certainly are, and we can see now the 017, that's Brian Borg. Let's have a look at our top 10 standings as they are now. So Dane Warren, he's in the 203s, a 203.867. Nick Cummings second, 204.970. Brian Borg third with a 204.996. And fifth is Thomas McMillan as Borg loops it and into the fence. Thomas McMillan with a 205 flat. So it's interesting, the times around here, they're very comparable to the Porsches that we saw just probably the last hour doing the pre-race.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, the Porsche has the great agility across the top of the hill in the technical sections. It's very, very good. The V8 makes that ground up, down, Mountain Straight and Conrod. So pretty evenly matched. Dane Warren, again, a bit over a second up on the field at the moment through qualifying, leading the way. Good showing for him so far, but the guys behind that, like you mentioned, Marlon, Nick, Brian, Thomas, pretty close. I think we're looking at just a touch over a tenth of a second between these.
Yeah, there's not a lot between them at all, is there?
No, nothing at all between these guys, and I think that's what we're going to expect for the rest of the night. The racing is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it certainly is, and having a look at how this race is going to develop here tonight, folks, let's bring up the race information and we'll go through this. So, Daniel, we've got 24 laps around here tonight.
Yeah, so 24, it's 150k enduro for the guys tonight, so 24 laps is pretty good. Incident limit tonight of 25, which is pretty standard for this series now. The guys will get the one fast repair. We'll generally expect one pit stop tonight, somewhere between the realms of maybe lap 7 and 17. And the fuel capacity for tonight is around 80 litres. So should spice it up where the guys want to come in. And as always, we've got that interesting one random safety car for the event as well.
That's right, and that always creates a lot of extra drama, which we love here on RRTV. It's interesting, for the 1 hour enduro last week, the Porsche Carrera Cup used the random safety car, and it turned the race on its head, as we've seen it do a number of times in the AOSC. Yeah,
well, it certainly adds a good bit of spice. I mean, obviously, you got a time when you want to come in for that pit stop, and if you're able to get in before that safety car, it's obviously going to set you up for very good position for the remainder of the race. But if you do miss it, and we've seen it happen earlier on in the season, it can throw you right down the back end of the field, and your night will pretty much go from hero to zero.
Yeah, exactly right. And looking at the weather out there tonight, quite a bit warmer than it was earlier tonight. The Porsches had a cooler track, which could account for their faster lap times, but or the slower lap times of the V8, I guess, although they do seem quick. Mostly cloudy out there today, so it's now 30 degrees Celsius and 86 degrees Fahrenheit, where the Porsches were running on a 21 degree track earlier.
Yeah, look, it'll make the car slide a little more, probably than what the guys are going to enjoy for the race. So probably going to see now, especially with qualifying, going through at the moment, the guys will be wanting to work out, do they need to make a slight bar or spring adjustment now to help them out through the remainder of the race and keep those tyres alive?
Yeah, well, that's exactly what they're going to be trying to work out at the moment, isn't it? Because we've got 6 minutes of qualifying to go, and I guess when it comes to this, we don't normally see too many fast laps come out at this point, but I guess it's because they're probably now starting to get it into race trim and sorting out what they're going to take to the track.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of the guys will ideally probably get their quickest lap times in early on in the piece. When there's not a lot of other guys out. So if you can be first in the lane, obviously that's going to set you up really well. Now, obviously, with a 59 car field tonight, when you come out of pit lane and who you've got around you is going to dictate what sort of lap time you're going to be able to set as well.
Yeah, so there's been a little bit of shuffling going on up there. Dane Warren, he's still the only car in the 203s. Jordan Nakora has now jumped into second, Marlon McMullen third, Nick Cummings fourth, and Brian Borg is sitting there in fifth position.
Yeah, and we've still got a fairly good spread of times between fourth and fifth. I think Dane's probably got the guys covered for pole position tonight. Having that 1 second advantage is really setting you up nicely. But for the guys behind that, they're going to be battling for sheep stations. So a lot of elbows will be out, and watching where these guys want to place their car and pull off a pass is probably going to be a big thing.
Yeah, and we saw that in the Porsche race previously as well. But what do they do with Dane here? He's normally pretty good when he gets out front, isn't he? And he's very well known for just setting a fast pace lap after lap after lap.
Yeah, it certainly is. But having said that, I mean, if you don't get the best start off, and being the teammates with Duran there, he probably could possibly get off the inside of him through turn one, and it might sort of back that field up a little more. Obviously, if we do get some incidents further back, those guys are going to bolt, and you're not going to see them other than when that safety car comes.
Yeah, well, looking at the fact that we're going to have 59 V8 supercars taped to the track here tonight, I'm going to go right out on the limb here, and I'm predicting a safety car in the first lap around here.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you there. Generally, with the volume of cars, we're going to have guys starting obviously down before the final corner onto the front straight. So the guys at the back are probably going to be a bit more cautious of it. The big battle will be probably mid-pack towards the front, where the guys are just trying to position themselves and get back into line.
Yeah, because it'll all concertina up, won't it, as they're coming across the top of the mountain there for the first time. So we see Joel Kenton there, and he's come unstuck there in the dipper. But then the little iRacing elves jumped out and put that panel back on. So well done to him.
Yeah, definitely. But that's what's good about this time. They can have a few rubs here and there and reset the car and go again. But just done a bit of a quick look through the field. There's some pretty nice liveries out there. Joel Kinton's, as you mentioned, his livery tonight, a little bit more old school than what we see a lot of the time on these cars, but really striking in the same respect. Yeah, definitely.
And speaking of liveries, we had some very exciting news on RRTV earlier this week when Tyler Greenbury announced his sponsorship deal with WP Concreting, and he's driving for Matt Stone Racing this weekend in the Super 2s. We've also managed to get our logo on the front of his car, and you can see that live on the Clipsal 500 broadcasts during the Super 2 races. I had a look today, and he had a good race. He came in about 18th. He's debuting this weekend, and hopefully Tyler's going to have an awesome day at the Clipsal.
Yeah, definitely. The car looks phenomenal, and great to see the likes of the sponsors, yourself and WPS Concreting, being able to get the brands out from what we do as the hobby into the real world. And the livery looks very reminiscent of what we see. I think it's from Middle Finger Racing on their cars. So great looking design, and it's only going to help build more awareness to this sort of e-sport and enjoyment that we do as well.
Yeah, exactly right, and that's the goal. We Danny Vassell runs it on his sprint car. Now we've got this on the Super 2 car, and the whole reason is to get that name in front of the crowds, get them curious about the e-sport, and hopefully jumping in and having a crack at them themselves.
Yeah, definitely, and it's very easy for people to get involved in this now. I mean, you put a few $100, or maybe a bit more, maybe $1,000 or more into a system, and then you can start single screen, basic wheel, and get into it for not a huge outlay. Or we've seen some guys go pretty elaborate with multi-screens, VR, 80/20 rigs, all that sort of stuff, and you can spend as much as you want, similar to your race team. So it's very affordable for anyone who wants to do it, and a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, exactly right. And then in the anyone down near Bowral, as we said in the Porsche broadcast, go and check out Race Stars. We're not sponsored by them. We are not affiliated by them, but they do run the iRacing in their business, and you can go and actually try it there as well if you don't have the gear.
Yeah, really good opportunity. As you say, it doesn't cost you any more than a hire of a session to get in there and have a run. So that's a phenomenal way to get involved and see whether you like it. And if you do, come and join us. Love to see you on the grid for the OASC and a few of the other championships that we get the privilege of covering throughout the year as well.
Yeah, exactly right. And of course in Sydney, go to the race centre. They don't run iRacing there, but they do have sim racing as well, so you can check that out. But 15 seconds of racing left at the moment, and the top 5 have not changed at all, which we probably expect at this time of the night of qualifying. Dane Warren, he's going to have pole position sealed up by the looks of it. But I'm thinking while they're finishing off their final qualifying here, we should get started on the grid, because we've got about 59 cars to go through.
Definitely, it's going to be a while. Hopefully we can get through them all before race start.
Yeah, so let's have a look at the grid, folks, so you can see where your favourite driver will start tonight. So on the front row, we have Dane Warren. He set a blistering time of 2:03.867. He's joined on by Duran Nakora in second. Second row tonight is Marlon McMullen in third. Fourth, Nick Cummings. Starting out of the third row will be Brian Borg, and he's joined on the grid in sixth with Thomas McMillan. Out of seventh tonight is Jason Bentz. Harley Haber, that's a new name I haven't seen before, starting out of 8th. Sean Thompson, and we've got a bit of news about Sean coming your way during the broadcast. He's starting out of 9th. Cooper Webster 10th. 11th, Michael Talenjak, and then I think it's Michael Taliancic, sorry, and then Michael Hammond rounds out our top 12.
Starting in 13th tonight, we have Ethan Warren, followed by Jeff Rayleigh. Thomas Hinn starting in 15th with Jacob Knight next to him in 16th. Kai Sloggett and Kyle Stokes will be in 17th and 18th tonight. Jaden Borg and Greg Sharp will be in 19th and 20th. And Jamie McKnight starting out of 22nd.
Yeah, out of 23rd tonight is Henry King. Benjamin Smith out of 24th. Out of 25th is Adam Wyborn. He's joined on the grid with Daryl Hockey out of 26. 27 tonight is Mark Samuel. 28th, David Kinmond. Starting out of 30th is 29th is Mitchell McLeod. Tom Curran, he's starting out of 30th. Out of 31st, Mitchell Bales. He's joined with Shane Rayner next to him in 32nd. James Bell will start from 33rd with Jonathan Ben in 34th. Starting out of 35th tonight is Darren Lord, and then we have Darren McKenzie in 36th position.
Stephen Varga will start in 37th tonight, followed by Joel Kinton in 38th. David Miller will be starting out of 39th with Damien Charleston next to him in 40th. Bretton O'Brien and Jackson Harlow will be in 41st and 42nd respectively. Nathan Tregarthen will be in 43rd with Colin Bruns next to him in 44th. Series organiser Nick Heusler will be starting out of 45th tonight with Mark Turner next to him in 46th. Then we got Jay Kennedy out of 47th with Simon Mazzomo in 48th. Chris Parlett in 49th, followed by Stephen Templeton out of 50th. Mitchell Chapman will be in 52nd with Brett Woods in 52nd. Then we've got Anthony Waters and Andrew Johnston in 53rd and 54th. Gary Cooper was the last guy to set a qualifying time in 55th tonight. And the guys who haven't set times yet, we've got Brodie Morris, followed by Matt Stratford and Zach Best. And I think Matt Clowett was the final one there.
Yeah, so that's your grid tonight, folks. As they start gridding up, we timed that perfectly, so that was good. But, yeah, it's going to be fantastic racing. You can see the back of the grid here. They're starting, of course, down towards a pit entry, and they'll snake all the way around to the front.
Yeah, it's a long way to be starting if you find yourself back that far around the corner. So, obviously, you've got to rely on the iRacing light system to get you started there, but they're going to have to be careful too not to start rolling down that hill, and could lead to a stop-go penalty as well.
Yeah, because they'll get a jump start, and unlike real-world racing, where you may be able to get away with it, in iRacing you cannot, because it's detected by the computer, of course.
Yeah, definitely. So the guys will just have to be cautious of whether they let the car roll or not. I'm sure a lot of them will be standing on all three pedals to get it started tonight. So I think we're going to be in for a good sight.
Yeah, and a bit of news coming from the chat channel there. Phillip Island was the last time Jay Kennedy drove in this series, so he's a little bit nervous, but he'll do a great job. He always does. And Simon Mazzomo is talking about he's probably going to start from the pits because he's predicting carnage in lap 1. And Daniel Williams, he just got home, so he's missed out, unfortunately. But Daniel, grab a beer, mate. Join us on the broadcast.
Yeah, definitely. It's probably not a bad idea for the guys maybe qualifying mid-pack to rear, maybe looking at starting out of pit lane tonight to try and avoid a lot of that carnage. But hopefully, with the quality of the field we got, a lot of these guys should be able to get themselves through without too much difficulty.
Yeah, generally they're very measured, as we can see now. The start looks like Dane Warren did not make the grid, so I don't know what's happened to him in the 808. So we've got a start here. I'm just trying to think, is that Dane Warren in the... my telemetry's gone all mental here, but we can see the 85 going around. They're leading at the moment as my telemetry tries to catch up, and we've got looks like Sean Thompson off in the background.
Yeah, it looks like Dane didn't get the start there, but Marlon McMullen and Duran Nakuran got away quite well. There was a car spinning just to the inside, and I think they've exited out to the pits. I'm not sure who that was, but we'll check that out in a bit. But everyone else seems to be getting through pretty well up through turn 2 at the moment.
The 400 just got served into the wall there, and I'm trying to get a name. That looks like Nick Cummings has come to grief coming up the mountain, but we're still racing here, not under yellow, as the field of 59 V8 supercars snake their way up the mountain for the first time.
Yeah, it looks like Nick was a little bit wide there, so that's ended his night prematurely there, but looks like the rest of the guys seem to be getting through. A lot of guys now down to single file, which is probably what we want to see over the top. There's another couple of cars in the wall through the grate.
Yeah, we're just trying to get back there to have a look. And yeah, most of them have had a very good start. I know the first car off at Hell Corner, that was Sean Thompson into the wall pretty heavily at the start there. Nick Cummings also. We don't have anything on those other cars that came to grief at the grate.
Yeah, it looked like a couple getting over each other pretty hard, so I don't know who that was, but may see a few more retirements later on or some early stops. But as the guys make their way down Conrod now, a lot of these guys are in single file and looking to maybe throw a move up through the chase here into that corner.
Which is exactly what Duran Nakura tried there on Marlon McMullen. He threw it up on the inside. That did not stick. One of the cars out there struggling, though, that's Thomas McMillan. He also tried a similar move, but he's all the way back now and being mugged by Brian Borg, as we've got one of the Case-centric cars around at the bottom of Conrod Straight back there. I'll tell you what, they're playing for keeps back here. We're looking at 7th, Thomas McMillan. He's missing a fender, and it's got Michael Hammond, Michael Taliancic and Cooper Webster for company.
Yeah, some very close racing here. And we've got going up the inside. I think that was Thomas McMillan in the Rat Corp car getting up there. So that's a new signing for those guys. Michael Hammond doing a pretty good job though, just letting him through pretty comfortably, and he'll follow back in, and I reckon we'll see him making a move pretty soon to get that spot back.
Yeah, Nakura's into the wall. He's gone into the wall at the cutting, and that car's absolutely destroyed. We'll have a look at that replay. They're going side by side with Harley Haber, but Duran looks like his race is going to be pretty much done as far as a big finish here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. Not sure what happened there. It looked like he wasn't able to turn the car through the corner, and she went straight out to the outside there. So not ideal for him, but yeah, and we're back under safety car now.
Yeah, there's a massive accident at the top of the mountain up here. Both Redback boys are involved in that, and there's cars smoking all over the place up here.
Yeah, and I've just seen a bit further on. Looks like Michael Hammond's involved in an accident as well. Who was that? Thomas McMillan was spinning in front of him, and yeah, carnage from there on out behind.
Yeah, we've got, you can see the Penrite car there turned around at the cutting, and I'm just trying to get, I'm just trying to get some footage here of what the heck's going on. Hang on, folks. I had to pick
very hard to get here with the amount of cars we've got at the moment.
Yeah, I had to pick the car that flashed out. So let's try and find another car that was involved in that, folks, and we'll try to get back to that replay for you.
That was Greg Sharp by the looks. Him and Henry King involved in that incident at the cutting there. Looks like Greg just got turned by Henry, so that looks to have started the beginnings of that one off.
Yeah, we're going to jump back here and have a look at Tom Curran. I think he was involved in this. If I can, my telemetry is all over the shop. I'm not surprised with the amount of data that's being pushed from the server down to this computer tonight.
Yeah, a lot of info, especially with him. It's all to do with the amount of cars that we've got here tonight, and it is a shame that we've seen a couple of guys have to go out. I think there was some talk in the chat. Sean got himself a little too aggressive on the cold tyres there, which spun him early on, but you guys maybe just need to settle down just a smidge, and hopefully we can see this one out incident-free from here on out.
Yeah, so unfortunately I can't get back to the replay of what's happened at the top of the mountain, folks. I'm really sorry about that. My telemetry just is not playing. But the incident with Harley and Duran Nakora there, they're going side by side up into the cutting. Duran went into the outside wall there, and as he came back on, he got turned around by Jason Bentz, who was coming up through the cutting. That's what put him into the wall, and one of the Penrite cars joined him, and I'd say that's happened as Duran's probably tried to get that car back onto the circuit.
Yeah, I've just noticed Michael Hammond going very slow here on the outside. I'm just trying to work out what's happened there, because it's like he's let pretty much the entire field go by him, and there's no real pace in that car at the moment.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find where he is, because as I said, the telemetry on when we get these, yeah, we can see him now just coming up the mountain, 46th position. Wonder if last time we had someone do this, they had to go and let their wife in the house, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't think any of the guys will be jumping away from the computer to do that, especially around Bathurst. Yeah, very interesting. Michael was involved early on, just before the safety car was thrown in a bit of an issue there, and I think it was who did we have? One of the Rat Corp cars there spinning around, and then we had a few guys behind that get piled up into it. I'm just trying to work out which car that was.
It's interesting with Michael. We're having a look. He's stuck in first gear. That's what his problem is. He can't get out of first.
Yeah, that's very interesting. So possible hardware failure there. Yeah, not sure how that's going to play out, whether there be any black flags that the guys might be able to wave around and stop that in the event of any weird iRacing glitches.
Yeah, he's picking up pace now. I think he just had to allow the drivers to slot in behind him, in front of him. That's what it looks like, because he's back up to speed.
Okay, it's interesting. Well, hopefully we'll see him back up, and now that he's sort of caught back up on the end of the train, he should be able to get a few spots up here again.
Yeah, so the cars that were involved in these incidents out here, folks, was the 248 Thomas McMillan. He's been towed back to the pits. So has the number 7 Jeffrey Haley. Tom Curran in the 911 has also gone to the pits. Joel Kenton in the 060. Sean Thompson involved in that first incident. We've also had James Bell too in the number 15, and Mark Turner in the 005 get fast towed, and Simon Mazzono, he started from the pits. He's now in 29th position.
Yeah, so not a bad option there, starting out of the pit lane there. Managed to sort of get past a lot of it, and probably having that gap's allowed him to pick where he got through as those guys were spinning. So pretty smart move, a bit of driving there from him.
Yeah, I think he could predict it, and they actually got to lap 2 before the safety car came out. But looking at the way the guys, your top 10 will be starting, Marlon McMullen's going to lead the field off. Harley Haber, he or she, I'm assuming, I don't know, starting out as second. Jason Bentz third. Fourth will be Brian Borg. Fifth, Cooper Webster. Kyle Stokes out of sixth. Kai Sloggett seventh. Darryl Hockey eighth. Mark Samuel 9, and rounding out your top 10 is Mitchell McLeod.
Yeah, so it's going to open it up. We're going to probably see some very interesting moves. We've got a few quick guys up the front in Jason Benz, Brian Borg, obviously last year's series champ Marlon McMullen. So they're going to probably be looking to get away pretty quick. Mitch McLeod obviously hanging around up and around the top 10 there. We know he's very quick from what we've seen with his exploits in Scops. So look for him to start making his way back through this field once the green flag flies again.
Yeah, and we'll also keep an eye out for the guys that are in the top 20 or 30, because there's going to be some big movers guaranteed coming through the field here tonight. You can see Hins is back there in 12th at the moment. If we go further, we've got Rayner in 15th. Darren McKenzie, he's in the number 49 in 16th position. Then we've got Nathan Tregarthen in 19th. 20th is Darren Lord.
Yeah, just looking at some pretty big movers we've had so far in this race. Obviously, safety cars and a few issues, but Brenton O'Brien up from 41st to 19th. Just behind him, Nathan Tregarthen, 43rd to 20th. So some guys have been pretty lucky with getting their way through those issues and jumping quite a long way up this field as a result.
Yeah, they certainly have, and for the fans of Jaron Nakora, he's rejoined after getting that car fast repaired. He's going to be starting out at 25th on this restart.
Yeah, good to see him getting back out. Obviously, probably use that fast repair to sort that out. Still be interested to know what happened with Dane Warren. Obviously, pole position didn't make the start of the race. So, Dane, if he's out there, mate, give us a bit of an update through the chat. We'd love to let all the viewers know what happened there as well.
Yeah, and for the fans of Jay Kennedy, he's up 15 positions, sitting in 31st at the moment, carrying a bit of front-end damage there. But we can see now Marlon McMullen will lead the field down here. Yeah, I'd be pretty interested to find out what did happen to Dane.
Yeah, definitely. It's I mean, if you can be on the pole here at Bathurst, you want to take it arms wide open and get out there for it. But yeah, maybe hardware failure or internet dropout possibly as a result of that. Or, as you said, have to let the wife in, caught away from the system when she went green.
Yeah. Yeah, and Harley is a he, I've just been told. So we're going to be racing once more here at Mount Panorama, folks. 21 laps remaining. Marlon McMullen will lead them off. Harley will start in second. and we'll be back racing here very shortly. But the West End Mazda sponsored entry of Marlon McMullen goes. The rest of them follow through single file. This should hopefully settle the field down as Harley Haber goes through. Jason Bent's third. Fourth is Brian Ball, Cooper Webster, and then Kyle Stokes.
Yeah, it looks like Darryl Hockey found himself into a little bit of trouble there. He's got a lot of front-end damage. I think he got a bit of a tap, and we've seen a few guys get up past him now. I think that was Mitch McLeod and getting through as well early on. But everyone else looking like they're doing all right at the moment.
Yeah, you can see Darryl now limping as the 49. Darren McKenzie goes through on the inside of him. That Griffin's there. He's just trying to get that car back to the pits, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Won't be a happy camper behind the helmet there, but he'll get that car refired and get underway. But up the front here, we've got Harley Haber just got around Marlon McMullen, and Jason Bentz has done the same, and we have a new race leader.
Yeah, we're going to jump back and have a look at this, folks. So yeah, Harley's come up side by side as they come up to the cutting. This time Harley's on the outside where last time Duran was there, but Harley hits the wall. Then he hits Marlon. Marlon backs out of it. Harley still side by side. And this is mighty interesting and messy as, Marlon I think might have clipped the wall there. That's what got Harley through, and Jason, well, he just picked up the pieces.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe a little aggressive there from Harley on the restart, trying to push his way back through, but looks like the followers have now settled back in. Looks like we've got Bent still sitting here in second now, and Mullen from that little bit of issues dropped back down to third, and Brian Borg is still right behind him.
Yeah, and just seeing if Marlon's carrying any damage. He managed to get away with that pretty well. I thought he might have clipped the wall, but he's got absolutely no panel damage on that car at all. So maybe it was just a close call. But Brian Borg's also up to fourth now. He's just got past the 34. Cooper Webster, have a look at that. That car is carrying a hell of a lot of damage. And yeah, not many parts left on the front of that.
No, not at all. He'll want to use the draft from Brian here just to sort of help keep him up in pace. But you know, we've seen it before. The V8s don't tend to run that bad when they lose a few panels. If anything, maybe get a touch quicker.
Yeah, so that's exactly what we found out, isn't it, with this modelling, is they generally are quicker when they take some panels off these things.
Yeah, definitely, and I'll just jump back a little further here down to Thomas Hinds, and he's running in P11 at the moment. He's got himself in a good little battle here with, is that not Mitchell Bales? I think it is, yeah, Mitchell Bales just behind him. So, good little fight, and actually a new change of colours for Thomas, formerly of Pro Force Racing. I think he's now with Redback Racing by the looks of it.
No, he's not. He's with All Star Motorsports.
Good pick up there, mate. Sorry, I missed that.
I'll tell you what, look at the rear profile of his car without that spoiler on. That does remind me of that new, well, it's a Ford, but it reminds me of the new VZ Commodore they're running down at the Clipsal.
Yeah.
It looks like that VZ Commodore is a hatchback by the looks of it.
Looks very similar. Kind of reminded me a lot of the rear end profile of the Volvos that Gary Rogers ran a couple of seasons ago with the wing hanging so far off the rear there. Yeah,
definitely I can see that. But yeah, I was surprised when I saw them repairing the Red Bull car. They had the whole rear hatch opened up. So it must be like a hatchback, as Harley now goes on the outside. Mitchell McLeod's recovered. He's now wanting that position back, and Brian Borg up to third, but it's really heating up now. Jason Bentz, he's moved back to fourth, and then the beautifully presented Cooper Webster rubbish tip car is coming in fifth position at the moment.
Yeah, some great little exchanges going on here. Harley's still holding himself out front, and Marlon's not giving him an inch, really pushing hard to get that top spot of the step back. But this top half dozen cars are nose to tail, so any little slip-ups could be quite dangerous later on.
Yeah, exactly, especially when you've got a massive field coming up behind you and you're at Bathurst. There's nowhere to hide if you mess up here, that's for sure. But Haber leads them across the mountain again. 18 laps to go, 6 laps down. And the question is, they're going to have to do a pit stop. Now, people like Duran Nakora who went into the wall, they've pretty much used that stop, I'm guessing, and we'll see if they can get to the end.
Yeah, definitely. I'm expecting we're probably still going to need to see some of those guys come in just for a slight top-up. I think probably a little bit early at the moment for that, but the guys that are still out there are obviously going to want to make as much gain as they can, and still seeing that right up the front here. Brian Borg getting right up on the back here of Marlon McMullen at the moment as well, so the guys are starting to settle down, but really looking to push and pick that spot for a passing opportunity.
Yeah, we're riding with Brian now. Let's just have a look at when this slipstream kicks in. It's just starting to gain a little bit now as he goes through the chase and under brakes. Phenomenal under brakes. Whoa, that move was on, as Whincup would have said, and then he's lost the position though because Kyle Stokes it was that Cooper Webster and Jason Bentz got him on the exit.
Yeah, very reminiscent of Bathurst a couple of years ago with that big crash. I think Garth Tander and Whincup were involved in that one, so very reminiscent of that, but good avoidance from everyone there not to have half a dozen cars speared off into the gravel trap.
Exactly right, and they go around once more. Let's have a look further in the field. Duran Nakora, he's now up to 15th position as he takes the KSW entry. I didn't get the number on that car. He's now battling it out with Darren McKenzie. He's got that position as well. So he's on the move back to the front. Brenton O'Brien, another big mover. He's sitting down here in 16th, about to go possibly to 15th position. He's moving up through the field as well. And so we've got some movers now starting to come up.
Yeah, just got Nathan Tregarthen trying to go around the outside here of O'Brien up through the cutting. Not probably a move that's going to be on, and both of these two smartly pull back in line and follow their way up. But Brenton's starting to close up here on Shane Rayner just in front of him.
Yeah, so good run there by Brenton. The other one is Mitchell McLeod. He's up to 8th now and up 21 positions from where he started.
Yeah, good drive forward from him. The car's looking very consistent out there as always. We sort of expect that with his driving style. So doing a good job. I don't think he's really pushing it where he needs to yet, but he's just waiting for everyone else to sort of come back to him and get this race on a bit later on.
Yeah, definitely. And I apologise to all the teams that paint jobs haven't downloaded. I would suggest with this amount of cars on the track, Trading Paints may struggle a little bit pulling down all that data.
Yeah, definitely. It's I've got a few cars out here that are a bit black. I think one of Michael Hammond's, when I was viewing that earlier, was not up to spec there. So a little bit disappointing, but I guess that's one of the trade-offs with such a large field. Sometimes system issues again.
Yeah, so apparently on the chat channel they're talking about racing wheelie bins. I'm not sure what that's about. Is that a new sport, is it?
Oh, I don't think it's a new sport. I think you might remember as kids sliding trying to surf wheelie bins down a hill. I think maybe something like that could be a bit of fun.
In my day, we didn't have wheelie bins.
Yeah, that's right. You would have the old steel trash cans and stuff, I imagine.
That's right. We played knights, whacked each other over the head with baseball bats while using the other side as a shield.
Yep, the fun times as kids, eh? Bring them back.
So we're riding with Jason Bentz as we come across the mountain again for the 8th time here tonight. And we'll have a look at the telemetry as he goes across in 3rd. And just have a look at the speed these boys are going at 200 kilometres an hour up to 200 over Skyline here.
Yeah, impressive numbers with these cars. I mean, 200 coming down up through the S's and into the dipper. It's pretty scary stuff, especially when you don't have the grip and consistency to say the GT3s or the Porsche.
Yeah, definitely, and sorry about that, folks. Jason's jumping in and out there, so you've got an image of him on his side, but I assure you that was just him warping in and out of the server.
I'm starting to think my system was going to fail with that one, so I'm glad you got that as well.
And I'll tell you what, the West End Mazda Cooper Webster entry here, you know, the car's looking pretty sad and sorry, but as we were saying, the top end speed, what's Mitchell McLeod making a move up here on Harley, and they go side by side through the chase. Now Jason Bence is flashing into the picture. Oh, look at this. Harley and McLeod both in the pits at the same time.
Yeah, good racing there. That's it was Marlon actually. Marlon giving him a good tap on the entrance to the lane there. So interesting to see these boys coming in at the moment, but that just opens up a bit of room there for Bence to sort of get away and get a good lap. Maybe jump a position if he's careful here.
Yeah, sorry, that was Marlon McMullen here. It's going to be interesting. Will Marlon jump Haber in the pits here? He'd dearly want to get a bit of a gap over him, wouldn't he? So we can start not worrying about having that battle, as we see now also the 808. But there goes Mitchell Marlon. He's coming out, and he had a good stop, 12.9 seconds. Harley Haber, 18.1 seconds, and he's got... now Marlon's got a bit of a gap.
Yeah, good job from Marlon. Maybe just was able to get the right amount of fuel, and that was a really short stop and opened up a good couple of seconds gap there over Haber as a result. So watching the numbers and making the most of it as well.
I'll tell you what, it's getting interesting up the front here, folks. With Cooper Webster, Jason Bence, Brian Borg. Jason keeps flashing in and out of the server, and it must be so distracting for these guys because they're racing, you know, side by side in some instances coming up the mountain, and having Jason warping in and out like that would not be making Cooper nor Brian feeling very confident.
No, not at all. And we actually missed a pass there with Cooper on Bence. So Cooper's actually jumped up to the lead of the race currently. Obviously, we've got to wait for the pit stops to cycle themselves through. But yeah, having a car in front jumping out like Bence is doing at the moment is probably going to be a little off-putting as Bence makes a hell of a run up through the chase and gets that pass pretty easily over Cooper Webster there.
Yeah, and basically the move from Cooper on Bence, that came up as they were coming up the mountain out of the cutting up towards the grate. They actually made that move side by side. They went up there and Cooper took that position, but now Bence has got that position back, and the 100's leading this race. 14 laps remaining here, 10 laps down. So still, it's anyone's game. We've still got the random safety car to come in as we, and then we'll see how the guys go. But the pit stops continue here. We've got Kai Sloggett, Kyle Stokes in the pits at the moment, as well as David Kinmont and Mitchell Bales.
Yeah, we've just had Brett O'Brien jump in as well out of 18th. So some of the guys getting in early. Going to continue, I think, in the next few laps. Obviously, we're going to see a lot more come in, but lap times, the stop times are pretty consistent around that 12.8 to 13 second stop, with a couple of guys up around the 18 second mark at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like the random safety car is out now, so right on cue. No, folks, we don't know when it's coming out, but it just happened that we were talking about it, so that's come out. That's going to make things mighty interesting because the top 10 drivers have not stopped yet. The first of the stoppers is Marlon McMullen, 12.9 seconds. Harley Haber, who also stopped. If you're wondering what 6 seconds looks like, Harley's back there in 16th position. Marlon's up in 12th. Kyle Stokes, he just got out in 13th. He was one of the guys that had just stopped. The other ones that had timed that perfectly, if you look at hindsight, was quite a few of them. Mitchell Bales was one of them we mentioned. Kai Sloggett was another one that was in taking service as that safety car board came out.
Yeah, definitely, and I think we also had Kai Stokes in there as well. I know Brett O'Brien was in there as well, so some guys timed that pretty well getting in now early on, and as you mentioned, top I think 11 guys at the moment. Obviously going to have to cycle through, and once those pit stops come around, those gaps are going to be non-existent. So I'd be surprised if we see guys wanting to come in now, maybe try and extend that range out, and in the hope they can get a bit more distance and gaps between each other. But if you come in now, you're going to drop to the back end of the train, which is going to be a nightmare for the remainder of the race for you.
Yeah, you'll basically get buried in the field and you won't get out of that in that amount of time. So you're right. I think the best thing these guys can do is try and get a gap built up and then come in. But bear in mind, we're on lap 11 here. The pit window these guys can run to is about lap 17. So they're really only going to have 6 laps up their sleeves before they're going to have to bring those cars in.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's kind of the enjoyable thing with this series is where do you plan that stop? So I think looking at how we've sort of seen tradition, if you can get in sooner rather than later, obviously it sets you up a lot better on. The guys that take it right at the end, obviously, are playing that risk game. You know, you get a nice set of fresh tyres on a short stint, low fuel to make the most of it. But then you obviously have this risk to play with where's that safety car and are you going to be able to get in and out before that happens?
Yeah, and that's the thing, isn't it? Because the safety car basically can come out any time. I think it's 10% after the start, 10% after the end or something like that. But it can come out any time in that range. And if the viewers are new to the series, the way that's done is it's randomly chosen, not by a person, but I think it's generated by a computer. That's handed over lock and key to one individual whose whole job is to press the safety car button. We lock them in a room. They're not allowed to speak to anyone for a week, and we feed them bread and water. So that's how serious we take it here at the AOSC.
Yeah, mate. Don't forget the old rock bed as well. So treated pretty poorly. Not a job recommended for anyone, but if you like that sort of treatment, I guess, sign up. I'm sure Nick would love to give you the job. We probably should have a quick mention of some of the guys now that have actually finished up and pulled out of the race now due to some issues. Obviously, early on we had Nick Cummings having some issues with the wall. Sean Thompson, we know, spun the tyres a bit early and got into the wall at the start there. Joel Kidton's out. Jackson Harlow has left the server. Michael Hammond's out. Stephen Varga. Brett Woods has left the server. So we've got Jeff Rayleigh, Jay Kennedy, Ethan Warren, Thomas McMillan and Mark Turner as non-finishers for tonight as well.
Yeah, then we've got Michael Taliancic in the pits, not leaving any time soon, as well as Jamie McKnight. So their night has come to an end as well. So Bathurst is definitely bitten hard. If we have a look at how many cars are on the lead lap, we've got about 34 back on that lead lap. Jaden Borg's the first one lap down. And this field is absolutely decimated towards the back of the pack.
Yeah, definitely a lot of tore-up race cars. I saw Jaden Borg's missing a rear wing on that Penrite car. I think Nick's still getting around. His looks pretty decent. Same with Simon Mazzomo. But yeah, some few beaten-up race cars right at the back end of this field as well.
There certainly are, and there's a few beaten up at the front too, as Cooper Webster comes on screen. And I tell you what, it still goes, still works. So let's keep on doing what we're doing. Let's see what the NASCAR. Look at that! I thought they were going to all dodge back out, but they didn't. One person that did stay out, and I'll get the name right this time, and. That should be Mitchell McLeod. Yes, it is. It's a Mitchell Marlon McLeod.
Yeah, great job there. Obviously, a lot of viewers would have seen he couldn't just range right up on that safety car. iRacing has the weird NASCAR bug at the moment where if you pass all those guys on the lane, you get a black flag. So did it well. Jumped up on the back end of that safety car. Who's he got behind him there? David Miller. David's had a stop somewhere along the way, I believe. We've got Marlon McMullen. We know he stopped earlier on. That's a good job for him, up into third now.
Yeah, and I tell you what, the 888 Kyle Stokes, he'll be all grins. He's done his stop. He timed it perfectly. He's going to come out of 4th at the restart of this, and we'll see what sort of pace he brings to the table. Chris Robinson back here 5th. He's yet to stop. Then we're in 6th, Harley Haber, and Harley has made that stop. So has Duran Nakora. Duran's back to 7th, and we saw him involved in that incident with Harley. So, you know, we've seen this before. Having a massive incident at the start does not necessarily mean the end of your race, and he's back into the top 10. Kyle Sloggett's also stopped. He'll start out of 8th. 9th, David Kinmond also stopped. 10th is Adam Wyborn. He's also stopped. So out of that, we've got a couple of guys rolling the dice. That's Mitchell McLeod, David Miller, and David's teammate Chris Robinson there.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see whenabouts these guys come in. Obviously, what lap are we working now? Lap 13, so we're about 4 laps from when they may need to come in. Obviously, we've had the 2 safety cars, the one random and the one early on for the bigger incident, so the guys may be able to stretch that fuel strategy a little further. I'm sure seasoned pros in Mitch and David there are probably shutting the engines off coming down the hill and trying to save every ounce of fuel they can, which might extend them out maybe another couple of laps further than what we originally anticipated.
Yeah, and Mitchell McLeod, he's up 23 from where he started, but of course, when he stops, the question is is he going to come out in this field?
Yeah, look, he's going to probably fall a long way back. So I imagine he's relying on there being a little bit of biffo at the start of this restart. Potentially, it could. I think a lot of guys now are going to be on fresh rubber, so they should be pretty fine there. But if he does come in, I think the quickest stop we've currently had so far was Duran Nakora with a 10.1 second stop. So it's going to be interesting to see how quick he can turn that car around and get back out again.
Yeah, and if he had to come in with Cooper Webster, Jason Bence, if we have a look at these guys, they took the pain under safety car. They've come back out in 14th, 15th position because when they came in, a whole train of cars followed them. So I don't think Mitchell McLeod's going to be able to turn that car around and come out in the top 15 positions.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think it's. I mean, you'd be a brave man maybe to bet that it will happen. But we've seen these types of things in the past. If there is a big stack that he can get in early on, might just be enough that he needs to stay inside that top 10, however.
Yeah, well, only time's going to tell. But yeah, if the top 5 get through, that might be what he's banking on, is that there's going to be a bit of carnage on the restart. That's going to give him a gap to get that car in for service. But he's on lap 12, starting lap 13. Starting lap 14. He's only got 3 laps before that car has to come into the pits for refuelling. We rode a bit with Mitchell down the hill and he wasn't turning the motor off, but here we go once again, folks. Restart number 2 here at Mount Panorama. Mitchell McLeod will take the green flag as we run. He's got a great jump on David Miller, but then we've got Marlon McMullen in 3rd. Marlon's having a look on the inside of David. He's going to make that move stick. He'll move up to 2nd. Kyle Stokes, he's also trying to capitalise as they come out of Hell Corner. He should jump up to 3rd position, and the chase continues. Harley Haber back here, he's having a battle with Chris Robinson, and Harley will want to jump Chris as soon as he can as well.
Yeah, definitely. We see it. The guys that are on the older tyres did struggle getting away there. Obviously, David Miller lost a couple of spots there, and we saw the likes of Mitch McLeod, Marlon McMullen and Kyle Stokes getting past him there. So the fresh tyres are definitely the thing to be on at the moment, but it'll be interesting to see what Mitch can do with them and how much of a gap he can extend here.
Yeah, it's good to see I'm rubbing off on you a bit there. Now you're starting to mix up names.
Yeah, right. I think that's it. I wouldn't mind putting a bit of a challenge out to the viewers, though, to pick one, Mitch McLeod, when he comes in, where will he feed back into this train tonight? And number 2, who is the pick for the win tonight? It'd be interesting to see what the viewers have to say about it.
Yeah, and if you want to have your say on that, folks, come over to our YouTube channel on RRTV Live, and you can join the chat there and tell us what you think.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be interesting to see what the guys... Oh, Henry King, big into the wall after the elbow. He got helped around there, and that car is stuck in the middle of the road at the moment.
Yeah, it's back in the pits now. Let's go back and have a look at that replay if we can. Now, we're going to get very confused in a moment, and I'll tell you why when we go back to live pictures, folks.
Oh, I think that was Cooper Webster just in the back there, and he's nerfed him into the wall.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Cooper actually got him there.
Well, there was a car going off before that, and then he's got in the rear quarter and spun him into the wall.
Yeah, that was a 54, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right. He did get into him and spun him in the wall. I think Henry wasn't sure what the 54 was going to do, and he could have even checked up a bit. But I'll tell you what, he was lucky. Anyone else going to hit him? No, his gas. Oh, yeah, he just got clipped by the 49 as that car went through. I think that was Darren McKenzie. But I'll tell you what, he exited stage left as soon as he could. But jumping back up the front now, the reason we're going to get confused here, folks, is because Marlon McMullen is leading Mitchell McLeod here, and Marlon's just got through from Mitchell. Kyle Stokes now, he's also starting to put the pressure on, and you can definitely see the difference in tyres, can't you?
Yeah, definitely. Mitch is getting very ragged getting on the skyline there, so those tyres are pretty well shot. Marlon not much better through the S's, running very wide there, so the guys are pressing on very hard here at the moment, and I'm wondering who's going to break first and put this car in the wall.
Yeah, and as they're coming up through McPhillamy onto Skyline, Harley Haber pulled an awesome move there. He went side by side with David Miller across that part of the circuit and made that move. It reminded me very much of the real-life Bathurst 12 Hour and the way they pulled moves off over the top.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reminiscent. Was it Gisbergen in the McLaren doing the same thing? I think it might have been on Mikasalo or something in the Ferrari, but yeah, very reminiscent of that move there. And just in front of Harley, we've still got Kyle Stokes working really hard on the back end of Mitch McLeod as these guys get ready to come across the line for another lap.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Juran Nakora, he's now cleared David Miller. He's moved up to 5th position, and he's about 4 car lengths behind Harley Haber. So that'll be exciting when those two come back together again. But Mitchell McLeod, he's just lost another position to Kyle Stokes. Remember, Mitchell's on old tyres here, so he's doing the best he can as he bump drafts up Mountain Straight. And I'll tell you what, that paint job, it reminds me of an Alfa Romeo, just with those lines. You probably can't see it, but yeah, it looks like an Alfa Romeo.
Is that on Kyle's car there?
No, that's on Mitchell McLeod's, because I don't have the trading paints loaded for his.
Right, no, I've still got him in the blue Torque Monster that we normally see those guys. I think they've campaigned that livery for a few seasons now. Still looks pretty good on the car, so doing well. But yeah, Kyle with those fresh tyres sort of managed to get away now from Mitch, and Mitch is going to have his hands full with, we got Harley Haber closing in on the back end of him, and we've seen how aggressive Harley can be getting the elbows out as the guys make their way down through to the dipper.
Yeah, and we're riding on the nose cone here with Harley as they go through, and you can really get a feel for how fast these V8 supercars are as they go down the mountain. As we see Mitchell now locking a wheel, and that's going to allow Harley through.
Yeah, I think Mitch is really starting to struggle on those tyres there. They're not helping him out anymore, and maybe exiting to pits this lap by, but this is going to get Duran back in the battle. But Mitch still not giving up on here. Might have a dive up the inside of Harley if he can.
Yeah, no, he's racing hard, isn't he, as he's got the nose right up there. He's got Juran Nakora right behind him, though, and we'll see how long Mitch stays out. 9 laps remaining here. Lap 15, the window closes at lap 17. We can see David Miller, he's coming in, he's had enough, and Chris Robinson stays out at the moment.
Yeah, I think Duran will probably be through here next time by. I'd imagine those tyres are looking a little bit better on his car than what they are on Mitch's, but Mitch is still hanging in there. He's still maintaining a pretty reasonable gap. I think we're down to, where are we here? 0.3 of a second at the moment between these guys, so not falling off too far, but it just doesn't seem to have the consistency up through the corner circuit.
Yeah, that's where the tyres are letting him down, but considering that car's at the end of a long run, he's doing a darn good job here, keeping with guys around him on fresh tyres and making them work for those positions. And Duran Nakora will be the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we look at just based on positions now relative to what we've seen so far for a stop, by the time this shakes out, where are we? Mitch could be looking down outside the top 30 at the moment if he comes in now to make this pit stop.
Yeah, as he runs really wide on Skyline there, you can just see how he's having to monster this car across the mountain. Its tyres are pretty much shot. It's saying enough's enough, and Mitchell's just grabbing it by the scruff of the neck and saying, no, it's not, mate, we've got to keep on going here.
Yeah, definitely, and Duran doing a really good job just watching what's happening in front, keeping enough of a gap, but I think he should be up here with a good slipstream down through Conrod and into the chase.
Yeah, and as he's now pulling alongside of Mitchell McLeod here, he should make this move, but then again, Mitchell doesn't lie down, does he? No, he's going to let him go through there, and what's he going to do under brakes? No, he's happy to sit there.
Yeah, you can just see the consistency of the tyres under brakes there. Duran was able to gain a little bit of a gap under brakes, and Mitch has called it enough. He's diving for the pit lane now to get a new set of tyres on board that thing.
Yeah, and he rolled the dice, didn't he? And you've got to commend that. And stayed out there. He took it right up to lap 17. That's as far as he could take that car on the limited fuel that these guys started with. So we'll see where Mitchell comes out. But I tell you what, while he was up front, he definitely put up a great fight, didn't he?
Yeah, sure did. Obviously, he was one of the longest, or if not the longest runner on that stint of fuel. So come in now. The next guy we're going to have to be wary of is going to be Chris Robinson to see whether he can make the end. He's at about 14 laps on this stint. So that'll be our next concern of guys coming in. But Mitch looks like he's got himself out here in 26th position. So did fall a long way down, but new tyres, and we know how quick he is. He should be able to gain a little bit now for the last part of this race.
Yeah, and if we look at when the others pitted, if he had pitted with them, he would have been sitting around about 7th or 8th position if he had to come in with Cooper Webster. But saying that there's no guarantee because Jason Bence is down here in 11th. He pitted right with Cooper.
Yeah, and I just saw Mitch getting into a wall as he was avoiding action. I think it was that Darryl Hockey there spun out of turn 2, and Anthony Waters in the wall as well. So a couple of guys getting into the fence in the last half of this race.
Yeah, we'll jump back and see if we can get the replay on this, folks, and have a look at this. Yeah, it'd be a bit of a shock, wouldn't it, coming out in the thicker things after on cold tyres.
Yeah, definitely not what you want to see. The car's not the most responsive when you've got fresh tyres on board, so good avoidance. I think he might have rubbed the wall there for Mitch, but all in all got away with it pretty comfortably by the looks.
Yeah, he's taken the left front fender off that car, but as we've seen, that doesn't mean anything in these cars.
No, not at all. If anything, maybe gains you a fraction of time there, and he'll be right. He'll get back into that rhythm now and watch the quick lap start to churn out.
Yeah, so it's interesting. Some of the viewers have commented on who they think's going to take this win. One viewer says Kyle Stokes should have this in the bag. Another viewer said Harley Haber may end up binning this car. Yet another viewer said no, they think he's going to take the win.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they go. We've got Harley getting right up on the back here at Kyle Stokes, so he's still got a lot of pace in that car at the moment. And just looking at the lap times by, Harley was actually the quickest guy out last time by in a 2:05.7. So he's picked up about a tenth over Marlon, who's leading the race, and a couple of tenths over Kyle there. So that gap's really starting to narrow right up.
Yeah, no. It's interesting, no one jumped out and said Marlon's going to win the race here. But then again, we've only had 3 people comment out of the all the viewers watching. So.
Yeah, well, look, you know, you don't have to win every race. We saw that last season with Marlon taking the win and getting himself a GT chassis for his efforts. So winning is not everything. Consistency definitely is the key, and at the moment, if he can stay up front while the likes of Kyle and Harley tend to battle here, he might just be able to do enough to seal this race with, I think, what are we up, 5 laps to go at the moment.
Yeah, we're 6 laps remaining, nearly 5, as Harley throws it down the inside there of Kyle Stokes. Kyle saw him coming and didn't really fight that, but now Kyle has a good run. What's he going to do? Is he going to try and come back the inside? No, he's not. And yeah, we'll see what he's got left.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting Kyle maybe might have thrown it back up the inside there. He got a great run coming off the chase, and looks like he's just settling in. Maybe size him up for a couple of laps and then go from there. But looking at the tyre difference, looks like Kyle's got about a lap newer tyres than Harley, which at this point of the race probably doesn't really mean a whole lot, but he might be able to use that to his advantage.
Look at the toe he got as he came across up Mountain Straight into Griffin's there. He had a good run going, but then he had to back out of it. So he's got a lot of good top end speed in a straight line in this car. So we'll see what he can do. It'll be interesting to see if he's thought that instead of fighting Harley, if these guys try to close that gap at 2.5 seconds up to Marlon McMullen.
Yeah, I think we might keep an eye on Harley here just next time by, now that he's out in the clear air, just to see whether he's got any sort of pace advantage over Marlon. But 2.5 seconds with 4 and a bit laps to go, probably not the end of the race for him as far as that's concerned. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. On another note, Mitch McLeod, after his stops, actually got himself back to 19th now. So the fresh tyres are starting to help him, and he's only, where are we? About a second off the next guy, James Bell. So fresh tyres seem to be working for him at the moment.
Yeah, I've actually got him down here in 28th and in the pits.
Well, maybe there was another. Oh, actually, he isn't. So, okay. Something I've missed there. So, another incident by the looks.
We'll go back and have a look. So, we had him running really strongly, as you had said. But let's have a look at that. Car's absolutely trashed. Oh, he got tapped there as he was going on the outside at Griffin's. And I think that might have been the 04 of Miller, then the 35. Finished the job there.
He won't be a happy camper with that. I think he's actually disconnected the server as a result of that. So it's a bit of a shame for him. He had a lot of good pace in that car, and yeah, not what he wants as a result of that one.
Yeah, and that was Chris Robinson that tagged him there as Mitchell tried to make that move. I think it was a racing incident myself, but it's the way the cookie crumbles, so to speak. But at the moment, Marlon McMullen is leading this race. The gap 2.3 seconds. To answer your question, Daniel, on lap times, Marlon did a 2:06.285. Harley did a 2:06.157.
Yeah, so lap times are pretty consistent. A tenth here or there is not going to be enough to finish this one for him. So yeah, I think if he's lucky, Marlon probably get this one in the bag. Kyle Stokes is still fighting on hard here, and I think he's going to be joined pretty soon by Duran Nakura behind them. So that'll be a good little battle there for the last few spots for the top 3. Looking further down into the battle, into the grid. So little battle here with Thomas Hinds Who we got? Thomas Hinz, Kai Sloggett, Jason Benson, Brian Borg, and that's over 7th position at the moment. That's probably one of the closest ones we got on track currently.
Yeah, and Jason's having a look on the 13 now and sizing him up. It looks like his internet connection issues have also settled down for him, so that'll be a relief for Jason. But see when he gets this toe, it's starting to take effect now, and as they come into Caltex Chase, 4 laps to go. What's Spence going to do? Is he going to try it under brakes? He is, and he throws it very deep under brakes there in the 100, pulls it up, slides it across the road. The 13's coming back at him, gives him a tap, and they continue on.
Now that's how you put the slide job on. That was great driving there from Jason. Had it all out, and I'm not going to dabble into the scapy comments with the right out sideways, but he did a great job to pull that one back in line.
All I'm saying is that was absolutely wild.
Yeah, no, great driver, and good to see him pushing this hard at the back end of the race. That was very impressive.
It was a good move, wasn't it? I didn't think he was going to pull that thing up, but he did. He managed to do it just and pull that move off.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Once I started seeing that counter steer on the car, I thought, oh geez, he's probably lost the back end here enough, and just got it inside the grip limits there and brought it back on. A little bit of a touch, but Kai did a good job not to spin him, and it's like Kai just lost another spot there to Brian Borg up the inside of the cutting.
Yeah, so Brian's now moved up to 9th position and marching forward. Brenton O'Brien, he's in 14th position at the moment, up 27 from where he started. So an awesome drive by Brenton tonight. Very consistent run, and he's going to reap the rewards in 3 laps' time.
Yeah, definitely. And also same for Colin Bruns here, up 44th to 16th. So those 2 guys doing very good and bringing their way up through the field at the moment.
Oh, definitely. But I tell you what, Harley's still trying to hunt down Marlon McMullen here. He's taken 2 tenths out of him, but the pace this race is going with 2 laps remaining, I think the closest he's going to get, as we see Duran Nakora on Kyle Stokes, Duran did not pull that off, but these 2 are battling. But I think the closest Harley's going to get is probably around about 1.9 seconds.
Yeah, I don't think he's quite going to have enough to get into it. Marlon actually just lost another tenth there, but those 2 are down into the 205. So with the 2 laps to go, they're not letting up at all. And I think 1.9 seconds to 1.7 is probably going to be about the gap we're going to see at the end of this race.
Yeah, meanwhile, Stokes is defending against Nakora here as they come up Mountain Straight. 2 laps remaining here. Nakora did try the move down into the end of Caltex Chase, but did not pull it off. So he's going to have to work out another move.
Yeah, just watching Kyle on the exit of turn 2 as they headed up towards the cutting there. Added the car a little sideways, so possibly fighting a little for rear grip at the moment, but I don't know, I think Duran's is probably going to wait behind him. I think he'll probably get a good move going up through the chase again once these guys get off the top of the mountain here.
Yeah, we'll see how he goes. A bit of sparks coming off Duran's car as he just rubs the wall there, and that was just coming up towards the grate, I think it was. But we'll see how they go now. Coming down the hill, Kyle's got that car dancing beautifully. He's just got to pull it up at the dipper, which he does. But look at Duran, he's starting to close up now, and he'll be thinking about this Conrod Straight and what he can do as they come out Forest Elbow.
Yeah, great drive from Duran, really closed that gap, and now he's going to be looking pretty in the toe here to get this move done as they get into the chase.
Yeah, so he's opted for the outside this time. Last time he tried the inside, this time the outside. Kyle's not going to just roll over here. He's going to hold him out. As he does, he holds just Duran. Duran's not giving up though, but he's going to have to about this point.
Yeah, great respect from both these guys. Plenty of room given, and Kyle doing an awesome job on the inside just to hold that line and really make it hard for Duran to get around him. But I think this one's going to continue on for the next lap or so at the end of this race.
Yeah, definitely. We're down to one lap to go here, folks, and the music's starting to end. And I tell you what, Duran reminds me of a little boy at a dance. He's trying all the moves, trying to get the reward, but they just don't seem to be working.
No, that's probably the worst analogy I've heard.
It sounded better in my head, man.
Yep. No, look, he's doing well. He's not giving up, and that's what we've come to expect from these guys in this series. You know, all go to the end of the race and setting himself up for another good move here. If he can get a good run off the top of the hill through Skyline and down through the S's and the Dipper, he might be up for another run through the chase again. And it's going to be interesting to see where Kyle wants to position his car now.
Yeah, definitely. As they come across the mountain for the last time here tonight, folks, and Marlon McMullen has a gap of 2.3 seconds lead and doing it quite easily out front. But let's stay on this battle for as long as we can, because I think when they come down to the chase, it's going to be on again.
Yeah, definitely. Duran really getting up on the back of that bumper. Careful not to spin him, and he's just getting set up for that nice toe as the guys make their way off the elbow. Good drive from both of these fellas, and Duran's going to be really hard pressed getting up here now, I think.
Yeah, as they say, it's his last chance, it's the last dance. There you go, that's another one for you.
Yep, don't have any comeback for that.
I'm on fire, not really. But, here comes Duran. He's throwing it down the inside, and he should make... No, he spun it. But let's go up and see the winner. Then we'll go back to that. Marlon McMullen takes the win in the West End Mazda. A fantastic drive there. Harley Haber, he comes home in second position. Then we have Kyle Stokes in third. Fourth, Cooper Webster. And Duran Nakora, he brings that car home in fifth. Let's jump back and just have a look at that, because it looked like... he tried a Marlon McMullen move in there, and he didn't quite get to pull that car up.
He had a great run, very late on the brakes. Lucky the guys didn't touch there. I thought he almost got it pulled up, and I think maybe just grabbed that rear brake just a smidge, and she was all over Red Rover.
Certainly was, and he managed to only lose one spot, really, didn't he, as he gasses it up, thinking, here comes another car, as a 31 just says, or 34, sorry. That was Cooper Webster said, thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. I just jumped. Oh, jeez. Kyle, pucker factor there would have been through the roof watching Duran slide off in front of him. That was very close.
Yeah, we'll see if we can jump back to that. We might go real time, hey, in the cockpit for that one. What do you think?
Absolutely. The viewers would love that.
So we're riding with Kyle Stokes here, folks, in real time. And actually, we'll go to the cockpit view so you can see what he would be seeing exactly. And you can just look in the mirror up the left. You can see the 808 now trying to pull this move off. Here he comes. Oh, I tell you what, Kyle did a good job, didn't he? He just sort of kept on driving. It didn't seem to faze him one bit.
No, really good awareness there. I think he was probably waiting for that. Maybe picked it up early on in the mirrors with the braking there. So good drive from him. But yeah, if you're sitting in the cockpit, you're praying you don't get taken out in a move like that.
Yeah, exactly right. But let's have a look at our race winner. That's Marlon McMullen in the West End Mazda entry. He's out of fuel now. Yeah, he's out of fuel.
We got it home just enough to get it one and run, and no, great drive from Marlon. So I guess we better make our way through this grid. It's going to be a long one.
Yeah, now someone told me anyone worth their salt should know that if you run out of fuel at the top of the mountain, you can roll it to the pits.
All right, well, let's see if we can get this called before he gets himself back down.
He's got the car started. He's cheating. He's cheatering. All right, so Marlon McMullen, he's just He's just playing with us. That's what he's doing. So Marlon McMullen takes the win tonight in the 85. Harley Haber comes home second in the 21. Kyle Stokes third in the 888. Cooper Webster comes home in fourth, followed by Duran Nakora in fifth. Thomas in sixth. Brian Borg seventh. Eighth, Jason Bentz. Ninth, David Kinmond, up 19 positions from where he started. Kai Sloggett 10th. 11th, Mark Samuel, up 16 positions, and rounding out your top 12 is Jacob Knight.
Coming home in 13th is Darren McKenzie, up from his starting spot of 36 tonight. Brenton O'Brien, good move, or good race for him, sorry. Started 41st up to 14th, great job there. Mitchell Bales home in 15th, Chris Robinson in 16th. Colin Bruns, another great drive from him, started 44th up to 17th. Benjamin Smith in 18th tonight. We got James Bell in 19th, Tom Curran in 20th, David Miller in 21st, Gary Cooper home in 22nd, so up from 55. That's a good drive from him there. Darren Lord in 23rd, and 24th tonight was Jonathan Ben.
Oh, wrong button. At least you get to see the donuts now, folks. Hang on, let me get... Oh, now I've done it again.
Well, you find them, I'll keep going. 25th tonight, we got Shane Rayner, followed by Nathan Tregarthen in 26th, and Mitch Chapman up into 27th from his starting spot of 51st, and he was actually the last of our lead lap cars tonight. First of the lap down entrance, we had Andrew Johnson in 28th, followed by Nick Heusler out of 29th, Damien Charleston in 30th, Jaden Borg in 31st. Mitch McLeod 5 laps down in 32nd tonight, followed by Darryl Hockey at a 33rd. Anthony Waters in 34th tonight with Chris Pillett in 35th. Adam Wyburton in 36th, followed by Stephen Varga and Henry King in 38th. Simon Mazzomo in 39th tonight with Jamie McKnight in 40th.
Yeah, home in 41st was Mark Turner, followed by Stephen Templeton in 42nd position. Thomas McMillan, 43rd. Ethan Warren, 44th. 45th, Greg Sharp. Jeffrey Haley, home in 46th. 47th night, Jackson Suzlin Harlow. Brett Selby Wood finishes in 48th. 49th tonight was Michael Hammond. Then Jay Kennedy, home in 50th. I think we're in our retirements now. Michael Taliancic, home in 51st. Joel Kenton, 52nd. 53rd, Nick Cummings. Sean Thompson, 54th. 55th, Dane Warren, who did not start. Matt Stratford didn't take the grid either, nor did Brodie Morris, Matthew Clowett or Zach Best. There you go.
And while you cough out a lung there, that was a pretty interesting race. Looks like we've got a few of the fellas now making their way into the green room, and I think probably we'll bring up who we got here. Kyle Stokes in third, started 18th tonight. We might get him up for the first round of interview.
Yep, no worries. I might get you to start.
No worries. G'day, Kyle. Welcome to the RRTV commentary box, mate. Congratulations. Third place tonight. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
How'd you find it out there? It looked like some really interesting racing with between yourself and Duran there at the end.
Yeah, sort of took the tyres at the start of the stint, so just struggling to hold on, and I knew he was going to have a go at down at the chase, but yeah, credit to Duran actually making it clean and not making it dirty, but yeah, good race between him and yeah, win the Marlin, and well done to Harley too.
Yeah, it looked like yourself and Duran were having a pretty good battle. Obviously, the pretty good respect between both of you. What was your view, that final move there? We were calling it looked like a little bit of room from the outside camera, but once we got on board on the cockpit, not much room to play with.
No, there wasn't a lot of room to play with, but I couldn't see him pulling it up anyway. I was on braking limit to start with, so like it was either we were both going to hit or it was, yeah, move wasn't really going to work, in my view, but yeah, one of those things.
Yeah, and obviously starting sort of top of the mid pack. How did you find the opening stint to the race? And we had a few issues with some guys towards the pointy end. No major issues for yourself getting through all that?
A couple little bumps and nothing too major. Just kept me cool and just me time to try to get through. Tried to keep to myself, basically.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, mate, I might see if Bernie's got any questions, maybe if he's recovered the voice there, and get him to ask you a couple of questions, buddy.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah, I just got back actually. I just had some water, so I don't really have any questions at the moment, Kyle. Good drive, though. It was a really good drive. So congratulations on that. Did you want to give a shout out to your sponsors?
Yeah, thanks very much, Bernie. I'd just like to thank National Central. Unfortunately, I didn't have it on the car tonight. I've still got the S-Cops livery on, but yeah, just like to thank them and FRA Motorsport.
Fantastic. Well, once again, congratulations. Third tonight for the 888, and you can go and celebrate.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
So that was Kyle Stokes. Folks, the next one is Harley Haber. Let's bring Harley up and have a chat. Hi, Harley. Welcome to the RRTV Combox, mate, and congratulations. Second position tonight. Looked like you were racing pretty hard out there earlier in the night, and the pressure continued on as the race progressed.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. Stoked to be in the league. It's my first race, and to come home with second place is a pretty good feeling, to be honest. And I just seen I had the fastest lap of the race as well, so that's also a good bonus.
Certainly is, and we saw you make that move up coming onto Skyline there, which was very reminded me very much of what I saw in the 12-hour in real life as you went too wide and pulled that move off.
Yeah, I actually had someone in the Discord come and say that I'm on the broadcast, so I thought I'd put on a show for you boys. And yeah, just reading the chat now, there was a couple of keyboard warriors saying I was in a binnet, so to pull that move off with no contact and get the job done, and that was pretty. I was pretty happy with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good race, and some of the moves you were pulling off were they were very aggressive moves, but you really need to do that sometimes, and it paid off tonight big time for you. So second position.
Yeah. No, that's it, 100%. I mean, you know, I don't come here to race soft, and you know, I give enough room, and you know, I say enough room because there's just enough room, and yeah, obviously all the moves are aggressive, but I don't ever intentionally hit anyone off, so it's just worked out really well tonight.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, I'm going to hand you over to Daniel Leet and see if he's got any more questions. But once again, congratulations, mate.
Thank you very much, Bernie.
Yeah, mate. Only got a couple of questions. Obviously, really good pace out there tonight. You know, you set fastest up of the race. How'd you find the tyres over the stint of the race? Obviously, it looked like towards the middle to end of the second stint, you were coming pretty hard at Marlin. Did you find there was a bit of tyre drop off at all?
To be honest, I pretty much set the car up for the race more than I did qualifying. I knew I had pace in the race, and towards the end there, I wouldn't say it dropped off, but yeah, the tyres were definitely heading that way. They were really close to going off, but lucky I had the balance of the car pretty well set, so that stopped it from doing that. So I actually engineered two cars tonight, and one of which finished on the podium. So yeah, very happy with that.
Fantastic. Well, mate, hopefully we'll see you out for a few more events. Good to see a little bit of spice coming in and getting the elbows out. So thanks for that. And yeah, before we let you go, obviously we better get a shout out to all the sponsors on board the car tonight.
Yep, no worries, boys. I'd love to come back. I'd love to race with you boys again.
Fantastic. Do you have any sponsors you need to give a shout out to, Harley?
No sim racing sponsors.
Okay, no worries, mate. All right, hopefully we'll see you next week. Not sure where we're going, but hopefully you'll be back.
No worries, sounds good. Thank you very much, boys.
See you, mate.
See ya.
So that was Harley Haber, second, but let's bring up... Have we got Marlon down there? We do have Marlon. I might get you to start this, Daniel. I'm just making you work really hard.
No worries. G'day, Marlon. Welcome to the RRTV commentary box, mate. Congratulations. Race winner tonight.
Thank you.
How'd you go?
Yeah, no, it wasn't too bad. It was a bit of a interesting start, but the second phase of the race was really good. I really enjoyed that, having a good hit out with Harley, so it made up for the start.
Yeah, it looked like some good battles early on with yourself and Harley. I think there was a couple of aggressive moves early on, especially getting up out through the cutting there. I think it might have been a little bit of contact early on when you two swapped the lead. Any issues from that following?
I had a crap load of damage, and I was really worried. You're coming around the cutting, you're side by side. That's no worries. But the second part of it, I felt like he turned down a bit too early on me. So there's not really much you can do there. So I went into the wall and knocked out the whole front steering of the geometry, and that was a little bit fired up. You could probably say that, but it's all right. You go back out there and just tried to run my own race. I know Bathurst is a survival race. I've done this damn thing so many times and finished in the Scop series on the podium a few times. So it's just one of those things. You just want to stay out there, do your own job, and that's all I could do in the second stint of the race. And I've got a new computer at the moment. I'm just trying to learn, all the new stuff because it's not lagging anymore. It's all smooth, and now I'm going to be a lot more smoother with my inputs, and it's tricky, trying to adjust. And that second stint of the race, once I swapped the tyres, I really started to gel with this computer, and it was really nice.
Yeah, we were keeping an eye, especially when you guys came around for the first set of stops. You obviously able to jump Harley there. Did you have enough fuel to get you home? I think we were sort of unsure at the end of the race whether you might have rolled it home on fumes, or had you just got enough to gain the track advantage and then carry it on?
Yeah, the first part of the race when I was behind Harley and he was making it very hard, especially down Conrod, I've been in these situations lots of times. Rather than try and make a huge argument out of it, especially when you're at the pointy end of the championship, you just want to race, but you don't want to take anyone out. You don't want to get into anyone's issues, and that's all I'm trying to do today. And I saved that fuel really early on, and that safety car came out the first one. It was absolute, it was bliss. It was heaven, that one, and I was able to save a lot of fuel under that first stint, and then coming to the pit lane. Yeah, it was a gamble. Honestly, you don't know how much fuel you got because it throws out all the numbers. When you're behind the safety car and then you're running around at full 110% flat chat. So there's a bit of a roll of the dice on the number there. But thankfully the other safety car came out, and then any worries that I had about fuel was fine. And towards the end, I was just really pacing myself. And all you can do is once you get into a battle like Harley and I at the end, you just want to match the other guy's lap times, and you don't want to push it too hard around Bathurst because there's always that extra 10% that gets you in the end. So I was happy to just come home with a couple of seconds of a gap, and that's all you need, really.
Yeah, definitely, and we've seen, especially from your driving style last year, consistency is what gets the championships in the end. So, before I hand you off to Bernie, mate, congratulations again. Well done, and I think we'll see you back out not next week, probably the weekend once they have another off week.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, well done, Marlon. It was a good race, that second stint. Once you got out front there, it looked like you pretty much had that race under control. Is that the reality of it, or am I imagining it?
Yeah, as I said, with this new computer, it's really, really hard, trying to adjust with everything being so smooth now. It's throwing me off, honestly. It wasn't so much an issue last week at Road Atlanta, even though we didn't race in the series here, but racing in the official, and it throws out all your muscle memory and all that. And when you got another 20 or 30 or 40, I don't even want to imagine how many cars are out there, guys around you. You're trying to learn, and you're trying to race, and it's just so damn hard. And then you're going side by side, and something new like a shadow comes out of nowhere that you've never seen before, or a mirror on the wall, for example, at the cutting, and it just distracts you. So there's lots of things I've got to adjust to at the moment. But as I said, once I got into the second stint of the race, my heart rate dropped. Was able to do what I've done a million times before, and just kept out of trouble. And I really would have liked to have had a nice battle with Dane towards the end, but most of the main guys it just shows you the first stint in that race is so important. If you could just stay out of trouble, which we all nearly did, it just shows you, it sets you up for the second stint. And it was a good race towards the end. I really enjoyed that. Yeah,
it certainly was a good race. Do you know what happened to Dane? Because he just didn't, he was the fastest, but he just didn't make the race.
Yeah, I got him on the start line. I was starting third, and I was all of a sudden first going up to Mountain Straight. And I wasn't going to make it easy for Dane. I've raced him, so many times in the past, and he's a really good racer. He's really fast, but I know if he gets out in front, it's going to be a bit of an audacious time trying to catch up to him. So I thought I'd have a bit of a run with him side by side, and that was all cool. We kept it all clean and all that. It was really good fun. And after that, I started to see his internet connection starting to have a bit of issues, and he was lagging in and out. And I'm not too sure what happened, but I think, him and Harley might have had a lag incident or something. But all I saw in the mirror was Dane was going off into the next postcode next to Bathurst at the cutting. So I don't know what happened to him, but yeah, it's one of those things, You just got to sort of keep out of trouble, and it's nothing, Dane's fault. It's just, sometimes his internet connection really it hampers him, and you've got to feel bad for the boy.
I don't think we even saw him on the broadcast at all. Because from our point of view, I don't think we even saw him on the grid. We might have. It's a long time ago, and I'm old, so I've probably forgotten. But also, one of the viewers said that PSS got first and third tonight. Is that the case?
I'm not too sure. I think Cooper did very well. I know he came definitely in the top 5. Whether he came third, I'm not sure. But if he did, well done to him. But at the end of the day, Cooper's doing a really good job this season. He's come out of nowhere. He's really keeping it clean. He raced me really well at Phillip Holden the other week. We had that really good battle, and he's learning really well off me at the moment. You just want to stay out of trouble, be at the top 5 every single race, and that's all you can ever do, really. And you got to be pretty happy with your efforts at the end of the season if you can get on the podium. And he's doing everything right at the moment, and I'm really proud of the young bloke.
Yeah, no, he did a really good job. He came in 5th at the end
top
of the
5.
night.
That's all he needs to do.
Oh yeah, he was doing a great job tonight. He was consistently up there all night. So congratulations to him as well. Before we let you go though, Marlon, your final test tonight is to name the game, which is your sponsors.
Yeah, I made a picture the other day. Hey, here we go.
Picture?
Yeah, I made a picture because I was going to start live streaming some of my races from on board, and I'm just trying to get all that set up at the moment with the new computer. And as I said, everything's so different. So yesterday I just learned I could put 5 monitors into this 1080 Ti, so it's blowing my mind every single day, my friend. But obviously, thank you to all the boys at Performance Sim Sport. They always support me, and I was pretty miserable in that practice session. I didn't really get the computer settings the way I wanted to, and I restarted my computer a few times, came back in, and got things going. And they know not sort of to annoy me when I'm in one of those moods. Just want to figure out what the issue is and get racing. So thank you to the team there. Obviously, Western Mazda as well, always supporting us. WP Concreting, Knight Rider Designs for painting our fantastic car this season. Motion Performance Exhaust Centre, and of course GDH iRacing Images.
Fantastic. Well, that's a good picture you got there, man. I sort of imagined you were sitting there looking at the Mona Lisa or something worse. But anyway, mate, congratulations once again. Go and celebrate with your team. As we let you out of the booth, can you just let the guys know that we won't be taking any more interviews tonight?
Yeah, no worries at all, guys. And thank you again for putting on the broadcast and the race. And it's always fun to get out there and do the best we can do.
Fantastic. No, it was great racing. So looking at the calendar, we've definitely got next week off. Week 9, 16th of the 3rd says TBA. So we may not be back on that week, which means we'll be back on the 23rd. So it could be a bit of a break for you guys.
There's nothing wrong with a break. At the start of the season, especially you want to think about, I think we've had 4 or 5 rounds now, so you want to see where you are. And you sort of, it's like, with the Formula One, you have your summer break and they're off for a month. And then they just sort of think, okay, I can do a better job. And you look at Lewis Hamilton last year, Vettel was in front of him and Hamilton just came back and the world was him towards the end. So it shows you a couple of rounds break can really, set you back up as a motivation recharge. So we'll see how all the boys are feeling in a few weeks.
Yeah, it definitely allows people the time to regroup, review what's gone on in the first part and then come back for the second part. But anyway, mate, thanks for turning up and entertaining us and all the viewers tonight, and go and enjoy the weekend. I guess if you're not racing, you'll be watching the racing.
Yeah, cheers, guys. I'll go pop some virtual champagne, and a big shout out to Anton De Pasquale as well this weekend. I hope he does a really good job, and really we're all supporting him, so it's good to see that.
Yep, fantastic. All right, mate. See you later.
Thank you, guys.
So, folks, that was our race winner tonight, Marlon McMullen. So your top 3 on the podium, Marlon McMullen takes a win. Harley Haber comes second, and Kyle Stokes rounds out the podium. So, Daniel, that was one awesome race tonight.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Obviously, we had a massive field in 59 cars tonight. Unfortunately, with the size of it, you miss out on a few or a lot of drivers, and I'm sure there was some phenomenal racing further down in the pack that we didn't get a chance to witness tonight. But all in all, I think not too bad. Obviously, we had a few early on issues, but most of the guys seemed to settle themselves down and put on a pretty decent show for it.
Yeah, and the fastest lap tonight goes to Harley Haber, 2:05.496. And if we look at the results, there's been some very big movers out there tonight. And if we have a look, Brenton O'Brien stormed through the field to come home 14th, 27 positions he came up. Mitchell Bales, 16 positions. Colin Bruins also up 27 positions. But the biggest mover tonight, folks, is Gary Cooper in the number 42. He made 33 positions to bring their car home in 22nd.
Not a bad result, is it? No, great driving from Gary, and phenomenal.
Yeah, and then Andrew Johnston also finished 28th, up 26 positions, as was Mitchell Chapman, up 24, and the list continues. And so we've had, a number of drivers we didn't see a lot of tonight having a barnstorming race out there, but I guess that's what happens when you've got so many cars on the track. It's just very hard to be able to cover the complete story.
Yeah, it definitely is, but we'll turn our attention now to 2 weeks' time. Obviously, we're going to have a week off next week with week 13, and everyone looking forward to probably getting some LMP1 action going on for that week. So the guys will have a bit of a break and then get ready to go again in a fortnight's time.
Yeah, definitely. And folks, as far as RRTV goes this weekend, tomorrow night is our next broadcast, 7:40 p.m. That's the racingleagues.com sprint series, and I'll put in a proviso. It will be running if I have a co-commentator. I just have to find someone at the moment. But if you don't see us on tomorrow night, we'll be back during the week anyway. But I'm looking forward to having a bit of a break, Daniel.
Yeah, definitely, myself included. I'm going to go off and do the wife's birthday tomorrow, so that'll be a bit of fun. But I'm actually really keen to get in with the V8. Obviously, first round of the season, 2018 at Adelaide. A lot of guys are going to be interested in that. Obviously, you've got a little bit of personal interest in the Super 2 series, so if anyone wants to check out the RRTV and who was it?
WP Concreting.
WP Concreting car. I had it eventually. Check into the Super 2. I think that's going to be shown on Foxtel more than likely or something.
Yeah, it'll definitely be on Foxtel. And, it's Tyler Greenbury. He's a rookie in the series, made his debut. Did a good job today, up to 18th. But, sponsored by Edge, WP Concreting. And we're lucky enough to have our RRTV logo on the front of that car. So a big thanks to Wayne, who made that possible. That's Wayne Pengilly.
Yeah, definitely. So, I'm getting pretty set for a good weekend.
Yeah, me too. I'm getting hooked on Planet Coaster, so I probably won't watch the racing. I'll probably just play that.
Sounds good. I think I've got a F1 challenge or something to try and beat a mate with, so that'll be my bit of fun as well. So, I think it might be about time for us to get out of here and maybe go have a cold beer before we head off to bed.
Yeah, I think so, before you start doing stupid dance metaphors again. But anyway, folks, thanks for joining us. On behalf of Daniel Eade, I'm Bernie Weemers. Have a fantastic weekend. Hopefully we'll have your company again soon. If not, have a great time. See you later.